Hello, I am Stephanie. I'm a working artist and I've recently started to work on this big oil painting, and today I want to share all of the preparation with you. I'm going to show you the tools and my paints and just how I started this painting and how I'm going to work on it. So all of this actually started during my art residency in South Korea, and more specifically when we went on a day trip to Ulsan, which is a city very near Busan where I was staying at. And Ulsan is incredibly industrial. It's crazy. It's just amazing for any kind of artist. We were a few artists in the car and we were all taking pictures like crazy because it was just such an inspiring place. And so I did take a lot of pictures and I ended up making a watercolor. And of course I knew I was going to make a painting, so I decided to first do a sketch. Well, it's not really that I decided, it's just I really wanted to work on it. So I did this specific sketch, which I just really enjoyed working on. When I got back here in France in my art studio, I decided to start with a watercolor, and I actually have a video on the time-lapse of this watercolor on my channel, so I'm going to link that down below as well. But I was a bit frustrated with it. I think for two reasons. First, I rarely plan out my paintings a lot up front. So when I make mistakes, they are not always very easy to correct. And the other thing is that during my art residency, I did a lot of very small oil paintings, and I actually just wanted to paint with oils on that one. So I don't regret doing the watercolor because it serves me as kind of a base layer to work on the bigger one. But yeah, I'm very excited to start with oils because painting with oils is quite different from watercolors. So this is how I came to start doing the bigger painting. There's also a group show end of the year that is here locally. This is going to be fitting that group show. It's in December, so I should have time enough to finish it. I hope so, at least. I think it should be fine. This is also why I really needed to start it before the end of June, which I did. Now we're in July, so it's been around my art studio for a week now. I am letting the first layers oxidize for now, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Now the other thing that I did was this small oil painting study. I actually made two, so I'm going to show you both. So I made those two small oil studies just to be sure of the underpainting. I had an inkling that I wanted cadmium orange as an underpainting, but considering the colors I picked in the watercolors, I was thinking maybe a blue underpainting would be nice, but clearly I much prefer the orange underpainting, so that's what I did. I'm not sure how familiar you are with oil paintings, but the underpainting can be made out of acrylics, which I did because it's much faster. Now, my absolute favorite cadmium orange that I use all the time is this golden cadmium orange from So Flat. I use it for my sculptures, really. I use acrylics mostly for my sculptures, and I want to do a video of my favorites, so look forward to that. It should be out in a few weeks. So yeah, so this is my favorite cadmium orange, and I really like cadmium orange because it's almost neon. It's very bright. It's a very pure kind of orange, but it's also very expensive. That tiny little tub is around almost 20 euros, so that's a lot. I think in USD dollars that would be $22 or something like that, which, to be fair, is fine in my case because I work on sculptures that usually are kind of that size, so I don't need a lot of paint. But yeah, I wanted that originally on this very big canvas, and so I thought, okay, that I'm not going to empty a whole tub for that painting, so I decided to use some heavy body acrylics. I used to paint a lot more with acrylics, and I still have tubes left, and it's also from Golden, and it's cadmium red and cadmium yellow medium, and so I mixed those two. I did not manage to get as bright as a color as this one, so I ended up mixing in that orange mix a bit of the cadmium orange, but still it was good that way because then I had a lot of paint and I did not use up this tiny tub of paint. So that's what I did for the underpainting, and I've realized in Busan when I was doing these small oil studies that I really like orange underpainting. I've seen a bunch of artists on YouTube use very bright orange as an underpainting. There's one YouTube channel that is called The Tiny Egg or something like that, and the other one is Al I'm not sure how I don't remember how she pronounces it. I will link down below those YouTube channels if you want to check them out. They do more gouache, I would say, and maybe more illustrative, kind of. I don't know. I don't want to. But in any case, those videos specifically prompted me to really dive into underpaintings. And yeah, cadmium orange is my favorite. And then I decided to do the first layer in oils. Now, the one rule I know in oil painting is fat over lean. So basically this one layer is just oils, and I've been letting it oxidize for a good week now, and I'm not sure when I'm going to go back because I need to work on sculptures right now. I have a group show and I need to send out a sculpture in 2 weeks, and I haven't even started on that sculpture, so this is going to be the focus in my studio work for the next week. But yeah, I hope to be able to start actually working on the painting in terms of details in 2 or 3 weeks. So by then the first layer, I think, is oxidized enough. I also apologize about the sun. It goes back and forth, and so I'm in between overexposed and underexposed. But yeah, that's just how it is. I also printed out pictures from Ulsan to have them next to the painting to be able to work and, you know, reference to those pictures. I realized while working another painting that I do like to have physical paper picture rather than always a screen. I think it's just much nicer than a screen. So yeah, I did that. My printer isn't great, so the pictures aren't great, but it's okay because I don't need that much details from the reference. I just need the general shadows and light and the general shapes, because I'm going to cover it with nature anyway. So it's going to be different. And I also changed the whole composition from the original photo, of course. So for the tools themselves, I just wanted to show you my palette. I've been using some graphite to draw onto the canvas before actually painting, and I'm probably going to use them a little bit more. I use a 2B, a 4B and a 5B, but I think the 4B was the nicest on canvas. Although the 2B is lighter, so I kind of like it more for details. And these are the colors that I picked. It's a very normal split primary palette, I would say. So we have black and white, obviously. Then I have a cadmium yellow and a yellow ochre, a cadmium orange, a quinacridone magenta. These are both burnt sienna. This is a very old tube of paint from my mom, and so I'm finishing it slowly off. And this is a very old tube of student paint that I still had that I received as a teenager. Same for this one. And so yeah, I'm finishing those two. I think the paint, the Georgian paint from Dale Aroni, has changed their formula and they're not as good anymore. I honestly don't know. These tubes are 20 years old, but they're quite okay. They're not as good, obviously, as the more professional brands, but yeah, they're fine. I just need to use more because they're not as strong of a tinting. Then we have two blues, ultramarine blue, and this is a phthalo blue that is mixed with white, and the black. This selection of color is kind of true for most of my media. And this is how my palette looks right now. It's probably dry. I left it to have the colors on my palette that I used. I'm not too sure yet how to deal with the whole palette, so I'm showing you that, but yeah, I don't know. This is a throwaway palette, a disposable palette. I don't really like the idea of throwing away a palette every time, but at the same time, when you use it directly on glass, then you use a lot of paper towels or rags to wish everything off, which you also throw away. So I'm not too sure what is best or worse. Maybe to use something that you would trash anyway as a palette and then trash that. I don't know. I haven't really decided, so don't see this and be like, oh, this is a great way to build a palette. It's probably not. I don't have a very strong opinion on brushes when it comes to oil paints. I keep all my brushes for oil paint separate, and I have a lot of brushes because I received all of these smaller ones when I was doing the Evolve oil painting class, which I have a full review on my channel as that one was sponsored. So a lot of these brushes are that. Now for this painting that I'm showing you today, I used a pretty big flat brush, and it's a very cheap one. It's from Royal and Langnickel. I think I paid a few euros for 3 brushes. So this is the middle size, and there's a bigger one and a bit of a smaller one. And I tend to use those more for varnish, but I wanted something big to paint faster, that first layer of paint, so I went with that one. Now, generally speaking, with oil painting, brushes, it's not such a problem to get very high quality brushes. As long as they don't lose their bristles, you're going to be fine, because the oil paint is kind of sticky, so it's going to stick everything together. And so even something that looks like this, that has been cleaned up, the bristles are going to stick together again when you dip it in paint. So yeah, I don't really have a strong opinion on that one. I think I prefer the softer bristles, synthetic bristles, but that's pretty much it. Okay, this is all I wanted to share from my studio today. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's more of a studio vlog kind of video. I am intending to kind of boost my YouTube channel over the next few months because I've been sad. No, I haven't been sad, but engagement on my videos is generally really good, but the algorithm doesn't push my videos to new viewers because apparently I don't post enough. So I have to post every week, and so I'm going to try and do a mixture of time lapses, which take a longer time because it's a actual finished artwork, and then I do a time lapse, and those more talkative studio vlogs where I just check in and talk about what I'm working on and explain what I'm doing. So yeah, this is probably the first one of a long series, at least I hope. And yeah, I really hope I can manage that new schedule, and we will see. In any case, if you watched until now, please leave a palette emoji. This really helps the good engagement on my videos, and it makes me really happy. And it's also a reason why I want to push work on my YouTube channel and make more effort to, you know, grow it back up in a way. I think I owe you that because you've been so supportive, and yeah, I kind of want to give back as well. So that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for joining me in my studio today, and I really hope you're going to have a creative week, day, weekend, whenever you're watching this. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!